Tucked away in a church in the heart of Springfield in Jacksonville is a school called River Oak Center. The center is designed specifically for students ages 14 to 19 who have struggled with substance use disorder. Dan Renaud, the founder and CEO of the school, talked to me about what the school is, what its mission is, and what his hope is for the future and these students going forward. These pictures show me going up into the school, seeing some of the classrooms and where they teach, and Dan Renaud's card where he can be reached for any further information that you might want.
Thank you. Be straight for me, and then you come tomorrow if you feel better. All right, and we don't have school Friday. If you don't come tomorrow, I won't see you till Tuesday. We're out Monday, or Friday and Monday. All right, feel better. Sorry about that.
It's okay. It's a school, I get it.
So anyways, we were talking about, adolescence and recovery and what kind of recovery supports are available for adolescents, recovery from substance use disorders. So his thing was how do we get it into the school system? How do we get recovery into the school system? And the problem with that is there's a lot of reasons why that's difficult and it's very hard to do, and it's not been done here. It's done in other places. We haven't been able to figure out here. So he said, why don't you see if you can figure out how to do that, and then we'll see if we can make it work. And so I did some research and discovered this Association of Recovery Schools, that there was about 30 of these programs around the country, and they were a high school dedicated to kids with substance use issues, what we call substance use disorders.
Okay.
And they were trying to stay drug and alcohol free and stay in school. So we put together a little board, and 3 years ago we opened up.
Oh, perfect.
And we've had 130 kids or so come through the program so far. About 60% of them are staying clean and sober, and still in school.
So good numbers.
Good numbers.
Yeah.
Now, that fluctuates, and a lot of it is self-report, so it could be, there was some times where they weren't completely, on the path, and sometimes when they, whatever, but generally speaking, the trend is good for kids that go through a program like this. We currently have 30 kids enrolled,
Okay.
and we're year-round. So we'll have kids with us all through the summer and then just a regular school year. So it's not like first period, second period, third period. It's very much like college.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of, certainly in my case, anecdotally, but the data says that a lot of kids, especially high school kids who struggle with substance use, also struggle with a calendar and they struggle with the clock. Those are two things they're not good at. Right, so we don't have grades here.
Okay.
So there's not a 9th grade and 10th grade and whatever. Now we give grades like A, B, and C, but there's not like a senior or a junior. Basically what happens is the kids come here and their status is really based on the number of classes they have left until they graduate.
Okay.
If you have 8 or if you have 12 or 15 or 2, that's really your standing. And so we really work with the kids on getting to graduation. So a lot of things we try to do is, how many obstacles can I get out of your way?
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it for you. And you got to struggle a little bit. That's part of how we learn. But certainly there's some things that ain't yours to do. So if we can move those out of your way, then maybe we can give you a path that'll get you out of this mess. So we have a 4.5-hour block of academics we do every day. And it's just that 4.5-hour block. So in that block, they can work on whatever class they want to work on. At the end of the week, they got to have a certain amount done in each class. But daily, we ain't gonna sweat it. If you want to do English today, great. If you want to do math today, great. Hell, if you just want to read a book right now because you just ain't feeling it, great, read a book. But at the end of the week, you got to have your numbers. Everything we do here is online. So the kids can literally work on their work whenever they want, at any time of day or night they want to work on it. And they know they got to get it done by a certain amount of time.
Okay.
So that flexibility takes a lot of that pressure off. A lot of them don't have a good guide. And so we really try to be that. We know how to get out of where you are because we were there. Now we're out. And everybody here has been through that. All the staff and everybody. I was one of them.
Okay.
The real short answer is I was the kid that struggled in school, that struggled with substance use. The guy into petty issues with the law. What turned it around for me is I got a chance to go in the military. When I got out of the Navy, I got introduced to a young man who was struggling, had no idea what I was going to do with him, and thought, well, this is crazy. Why would somebody ask me to do that at 23? And I worked with him, and here I am, at 53, still asking that same question. What am I going to do with these kids? But I tell you, I love it. It's like, it's my thing. So here, we focus on the child first. So if the child comes in dragging their wagon for whatever reason, we're like, hey, because we know you, right? See, I know everything about you. I know what's going on at home. I know what's going on out in town. And so I can kind of pick up if something's not right. Right? Or one of the counselors will. And they'll say like, hey, let's duck off somewhere and see what's going on. And so they'll meet with the child individually, one-on-one, and say, okay, let's figure out what's happening. And then they report that information out to everybody. So now you and me and everybody else on the staff knows what's going on with that young person.
Everyone's on the same page.
Everybody's on the same thing. So the teacher in the classroom isn't going, what's your problem? Why aren't you doing your work? Why don't you turn that's a 0. No, because we know that, hey, look, Dad got put in jail last night. Or, they ain't got no food at the house, or the lights got turned off, or whatever the case may be. Now, that happens in a regular school system, certainly. But some people have better support system than others. And so we really just try to be that support. And so the kids that come here love it here, and they get to stay here. And a lot of them, they don't want to leave because it's a safe place, and they know they got that support, and they know they got that structure. And so for them, that's what opens up that opportunity for them. Not an alternative school. We're an alternative to a traditional school, but we're not an alternative school. And I say that because there's no kid here that's here because they're in trouble or because they were punished. It's very hard to get permanently barred from here. The only way that happens if you're dealing drugs up here, if you showed up with a gun, so anything that puts the community at risk, that will get you barred from here. I will tell you that our kids get better attention and more services than a kid at Bowles. They get an individualized academic plan. Counselor comes out every week and says, okay, how you doing? What's going on in school? How you doing on your classes? Okay, you got to pick it up a little bit in this class because you're getting behind or whatever. But they get that individualized attention there, which the kids in public school will never get.
No.
They get access to 2 mental health counselors.
2?
We got two mental health counselors. We got me. I've been a counselor forever working with youth. We have a peer support specialist, and then we have 2 academic folks, and then we have a teacher. So they have access to all of that anytime they need it. And they're in a small environment. So I will put what we give our kids up against any school in town because of just the services they get and just the attention they get. That is a place of hope for families that are kind of run out of ideas. A lot of families give up on the fact that their kid's going to be able to go to school because these kids go to school and that's where they get their drugs. That's where they get their alcohol if they're going to drink. But families realize if I send my kid back to school, they're going to keep using drugs. I don't want them to die, so I'm going to take them out of school. And I'm going to homeschool them or I'm going to do whatever. So most of the families we encounter have given up on the hope of their kid being able to attend a traditional school environment or even a school at all. And so a lot of the families that come here, we offer them that hope. Hey, look, your kid can come to a regular school
And make it.
Not completely regular, but regular enough. They're sitting in a classroom with other kids. They're taking classes with other kids. We now have a football team here. We now have a basketball team here through the Police Athletic League. They were gracious enough to sponsor a team for us, so the kids don't pay to go, but they get to play basketball. Our summer league is fixed to start here in a little bit, and the kids are going to play basketball, and they play flag football. So there's a sports program here. We have an art group that comes out on Wednesday and does an art group with the kids, so they get art every week. Most kids in a regular school don't even get that. Well, the biggest thing is language. I mean, 100%. Quit putting addict
Yeah.
under somebody's name. Imagine if under your name we put, student.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're in class and you're doing schoolwork and you're, acting like a student, then absolutely, that's appropriate. But if you're, working in the bank or whatever it is you do, and you're running accounts, and they put student under your name,
Yeah,
how much
nobody's
confidence
gonna
is that
wanna
going to
Yeah.
breed in me wanting you to help me with something?
Yeah, exactly.
Student. Oh, is there somebody around here that does this for their job? Because I need to talk to that person. So it's just language,
Mm-hmm.
right? Don't say addict. Don't say alcoholic. Don't say drug abuser.
That dehumanizes people, I think. When
Well,
you
it
do
does,
that.
and it also, abuser. That's a scary abuser.
Yeah.
When you say abuser, ooh, that makes people think like kittens and puppies or kids or spouses or, it's not a good word.
Mm-mm.
And then the other thing is that, an addict or an alcoholic or, abuser is your Uncle Pete.
Yeah.
Or that crazy person lived 3 doors down, right? It's a different thing based on what your experience is.
Yeah.
So using more appropriate terms like substance use disorder, and it's not to say that you need to know the language that we use clinically, but just changing the words that we use. It kills me every time the press interviews somebody, John Smith, an addict.
Yeah.
Or John Smith, father of 3, who has a great job, who lives in this cool house, who pays his bills, who takes care of his family,
Does so much
who
more
mows his
than-
yard. I mean, this normal person who, among a million other things, had a substance use issue.
Mm-hmm.
But leading with that takes everything away from him. Oh, he's one of them.
Yeah.
Right, so that's a big challenge. And that's a great question, and we're really still doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So Jacksonville's a huge place.
Yeah.
And kids come from all over the place. And so as the director, I spend 70% of my time out of here, out there, going to speak with the deans of the school system, meeting with other counselors, meeting with other agencies that provide these services to youth, whether that be counselors, treatment centers, you name it. But really just meeting with them and saying, hey, this is what we're doing. This is how we do it. And so the more people know about us, the more will come out.